very good morning, dear ladies and gentlemen. It's my great honor to warmly welcome you all to the 10th International Conference on Dry Zone Agriculture, ICDA 2024, under the sphere of Jaffna University International Research Conference. This year marks a significant milestone as we celebrate a decade of this prestigious event, which has become a vital platform for groundbreaking research, innovations, and solutions for dry zone agriculture. The theme, Navigating Dry Zone Challenges for Agricultural Excellence, reflects the pressing challenges and opportunities we face today. Therefore, we aim to equip the agricultural community with the tools and insight needed to ensure the resilience and sustainability in dry regions. For the past 10 years, ICD has led the way to transforming agricultural in dry zones, and this year will continue that legacy. May I kindly request everyone to please stand for the traditional oil lamping to officially begin this special occasion. Dear ladies and gentlemen, now I invite our chief guest and along with our distinguished guests to join with the traditional lighting of the oil lamp. In keeping with our customs, the ceremony symbolizes the beginning of our auspicious occasion, invoking divine blessings and the positive energy for the day ahead. First and foremost, I would like to invite our chief guest, Professor S. Srisat Kunaraja, the Vice Chancellor, University of Jaffna, Sri Lanka, to light the oil lamp and inaugurate today's ceremony. And he will be joined by Professor E. Somasundaram, Director, Agribusiness Development and Professor in Agronomy, Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, India. And also, I would like to invite Mr. Stanford R. Edwards, Development Specialist, Program Director, USAID funded Caribbean Agriculture Productivity Improvement Activity from Grenada. And also, I would like to invite Professor K. Pakirathan, Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna, Sri Lanka. I kindly invite former Emeritus Professor Balasundan Pillai, former Vice Chancellor, University of Jaffna. And also I would like to invite Dr. Anandaraja Kaneshwaran, Dean, Faculty of Engineering, University of Jaffna, Sri Lanka. And Dr. T.K. Visan, Dean, Faculty of Technology, University of Jaffna, Sri Lanka. And also may I kindly invite Dr. Mrs. Jane Malan, Dean, Faculty of Applied Science, University of Vanya, Sri Lanka. Additionally, I kindly invite Mrs. K. Nishantan, Head, Department of Agronomy, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna. And followed by Senior Professor J. Mikuntan, Head, Department of Agriculture Biology, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna. And also Dr. Mrs. Subhajini Sivakantan, Head, Department of Agricultural Chemistry, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna. And also Dr. N. Kannan, Head, Department of Agriculture Engineering, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna, Sri Lanka. Also, I would like to invite Dr. K. Suryakumar, Head, Department of Agriculture Economics, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna. Joining them are Mr. T. Noguchi, Senior Representative, JICA, Sri Lanka Office. And I would like to invite Dr. Mrs. T. Terensen, Convener of ICD 2024. Following Dr. Ms. Shara Devi, Secretary of ICD 2024. And I invite Mr. S. Sridharan, Finance Chair of ICD 2024. And finally, I would like to invite Mr. M. Pratishan, President, Student Union, Faculty of Agriculture, to join the light of the oil lamp. Thank you very much, everyone. Please be seated. Dear ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to invite the following dignitaries to join at the head table. First of all, I would like to invite our chief guest, Professor S. Srisat Kunaraja, the Vice Chancellor, University of Jaffna. Following, Professor K. Bhagirathan, Dean of Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna, Sri Lanka. Also, I would like to invite Professor S. Vasandaruba, Conference Chair, ICD 2024, and Professor in Agriculture Chemistry, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna, Sri Lanka. Also, I kindly invite Professor A. Somasundaram, the guest speaker of ICD 2024, also the Director of Agribusiness Development and Professor in Agronomy, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Coimbatore, India. Also, Mr. Stanleyford R. Edwards, keynote speaker, development specialist, a program director, USAID-funded Caribbean Agriculture Productivity Improvement Activity from Grenada. And also, I kindly invite Dr. Mrs. Esther Ensign, convener of ICDA 2024. And finally, Dr. S. Shivashankar, the Joint Secretary of ICDA 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are now joined by our dignitaries on the head table right now on the stage, it's time for us to formally commence the event. As per the agenda, now I would like to kindly request Dr. Mrs. Esther Ensign, convener of ICD 2024, to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome you all to the 10th International Conference on Rice and Agriculture, ICDA 2024. Celebrating a decade of insightful gatherings coinciding with the university's Golden Jubilee is the momentous occasion for us all. Today, we come together not only to exchange ideas, but to inspire, innovate, and work collaboratively towards a brighter future of the region. This year conference theme is Navigating Dry Zone Challenges for the Agricultural Excellence is more than just a phrase. It's a call to action. It reminds us to think creatively, to empower our communities, to ensure food security in this environment that constantly tests our resilience. Let's approach these challenges with optimism and readiness to adapt, knowing that each one of us has a role to play in this journey. We may need to learn to dodge the bullets by keeping our heads down, to move forward knowing the fact that every challenge brings an opportunity for growth. On that note, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our guest. First of all, we are privileged to have Professor S. Sri Sankunaraja, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Jaffna, as a chief guest. His visionary leadership and steadfast commitment to academic excellence have been integral to our institution, and he stands as one of the most inspiring leaders in the history of University of Jaffna. Thank you for your presence, sir. We are incredibly excited to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Sandiford R. Edwards, Program Director for the USAID-funded Caribbean Agriculture Productivity Improvement Activity in Grenada. He brings a wealth of experience and deep commitment to regional development. His works in climate-smart agriculture and value chain assessment have made a profound impact. Of course, his expertise brings a special flavor to our conference from Caribbean island. I know his contribution to the development of tropical agriculture, so I'm eagerly waiting for your keynote address. We are equally excited to welcome guest speaker, Professor E. Somasundram, Director of Agribusiness Development and Professor in Agronomy from Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, India. He is an expert in organic agriculture and agribusiness development. His innovative work and dedication to sustainable agriculture make him a perfect addition to this conference. So we are honored to hear and learn from you today through your 27 years of experience. Thank you for your presence, sir. It's with immense gratitude we welcome our conference chair, Professor Vasantaruba. Your guidance and leadership from the early planning stages to the final execution have been significantly contributed to the ICDA 2024. We warmly welcome you, sir. I would like to extend a heartfelt welcome to the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, Professor Bahiradan. Your guidance and support have greatly enhanced the conference in numerous ways. We deeply appreciate your commitment to its successful execution. And a special welcome to Deans of other faculties. Thank you for joining us and lending your support to our important event. My warm welcome to the delegates from Prasida Jaika. Your partnership and contribution to this conference have been invaluable. You are one of the platinum sponsors, and we are honored by your presence today. We sincerely thank you for joining us this ICDA 2024. To the academic staff of the Faculty of Agriculture, as well as those from other faculties and other universities, I extend my deepest welcome to you all. Your research, support, roles as session chairs, mentors have greatly enriched this conference. We deeply appreciate your commitment and time you have invested. Thank you for your presence. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to our sponsors and partners on board. We are fortunate to have Laikanyanam Foundation as our platinum sponsor, alongside Cargill's KIST, CIC, Lancome, Healthy Landscape Project, Anuradhapura, IDB, ASMB, Chrysalis, ESP, and Trincomalee A-Level 1997 batch students. Your support has been key in making this conference a reality, and we are sincerely grateful for your contribution. I'm delighted to welcome all the authors and presenters to the conference. Your hard work in preparing, sharing your research are greatly appreciated. Thank you for being here and for sharing your expertise with us. I would also like to acknowledge invited guests from regional institution and organization. Your presence adds significant value to our conference. I know you have been involved in and support us in various ways. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your presence as well. I would like to acknowledge the non-academic and supporting staff, including media team, BC Media, whose tireless work behind the scenes has ensured the smooth organization of this event. Without your dedication and efforts, this conference would not have been possible. I welcome all of you. I'm happy to welcome all the students attending ICDA 2024. This conference presents a valuable opportunity for you to learn, network, and engage in meaningful discussion. Remember, wisdom is more than just a knowledge. Knowledge is knowing tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not to put that in fruit salad. So it involves understanding, applying that knowledge thoughtfully. So learn, unlearn, and relearn. Try to ask questions and find the answers to attain wisdom. Lastly, I want to acknowledge the dedication of organizing committee and entire faculty community. Your hard work and perseverance have brought us to this milestone. Let us continue to rise together. If I miss anyone in the welcome address, I welcome you all as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Now, I warmly invite Professor S. Vasandaruba, Conference Chair of ICD 2024, and also Professor in Agricultural Chemistry, Department of Agricultural Chemistry, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna, Sri Lanka, to deliver the address of the gathering.
Chief guest of this ICDA 2024 and our beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor Sri Satun Raja, and the keynote speaker, Mr. Sandy Edwards, Program Director from Grenada, guest speaker, Professor Somasundaram from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, Convener and Secretary of the ICDA 2024, and our invited guests, including heads of different regional institutions, members from the JICA Presida and JICA Sri Lanka office, deans of other faculties, heads of departments, professors, lecturers, and administrative staff members, alumni members, students, academic supporting staffs, sponsors, and well-wishers. Good morning to you all. I am also extending my good morning to all the participants attending this conference via virtual mode. First of all, on behalf of the organizing committee of the ICDA 2024, I warmly welcome you to the 10th International Conference organized by the Faculty of Agriculture under the spur of Jaffna University International Research Conference 2024. Our faculty plans to commence an annual international conference in 2015, commemorating the faculty's Silver Jubilee year and named as International Conference on Dry Zone Agriculture. We have successfully organized this conference without interruption, even during the COVID and economic crisis, under different themes relevant to that period. The theme of the ICDA 2024 is navigating the dry zone challenges for agricultural excellence. We expect the keynote and guest addresses and the presentation from different tracks will help us to get more wider and insight experience about this theme. ICDA 2024 holds further prominence as it is celebrated during the Golden Jubilee year of the University of Jaffna. As a convener of the inaugural ICDA 2015, I sincerely hope our faculty will continue to organize successfully this series of ICDA conferences in the coming years also. I want to provide some basic information about our history of Faculty of Agriculture. Our faculty was established in Keynote in December 1990. Keynote was identified as a suitable location since it has high potential in terms of land and water for agriculture development, and is also situated in the center of all 5 districts of the northern province of Sri Lanka, which comes under the dry zone. Therefore, the Faculty of Agriculture was established in Keynote to increase the agriculture productivity in dry zones through research and training. During that time, our faculty conducted more practical-oriented activities, including around 40 acres of paddy cultivation on Ramanathan farm under the Iranamadi irrigation scheme, maintenance of herbal garden, pasture museum, and development of value-added products from animal farms. Unfortunately, the faculty was relocated to Jaffna in 1996 due to civil unrest in this region. Our faculty functioned in Jaffna with limited facilities in the main premises of the University of Jaffna up to 2014. Then our faculty was re-established in Keynote in December 2014. Since then, our faculty started to develop faster with the establishment of good infrastructure facilities. Indian government gave us grants to build a nice auditorium, computer unit, library, and sports complex. World-class research and training complex, process unit, farm unit were established under the Japanese government JICA grant. At present, our student strength increased to around 160 to 170 per batch. With these developed facilities, our faculty is planning to fulfill the dream of our founder members by increasing the agriculture productivity in dry zone areas through research and training. In addition to our routine undergraduate teaching activities, we have started other activities, namely conducting short-term certificate courses, such as vermitechnology, mushroom production technology, livestock and poultry management, maintenance of farm machinery, and micro-irrigation, which are relevant to the local farming community and other interested persons. We are also conducting training for trainers program for government officers from various departments in the relevant topics such as climate smart agriculture, good agriculture practices, food security, organic farming, and compost making. Our faculty also conduct one-day training program for school leavers and women-headed family members on relevant topics related to agriculture. School students and other interested farmers frequently visit our farm units to observe the modern agriculture practices and clarify their problems. Our faculty established an outreach committee through which we have successfully recommenced the paddy cultivation this year on the Ramanathan farm after 30 years of gap. We have also started various community-based projects under this outreach committee. The Faculty of Agriculture encourages its students to be involved in more practically oriented, marketable research works. For this purpose, we have started an event titled AgriTech in 2019. We invite all the relevant stakeholders related to agriculture, and they discuss the issues and problems in this event with the final year students to identify the current under the guidance of academic staff members of the related to that field. This will help the students to identify the current problems faced by the farmers and agro-based industry and motivate them to find solutions to these problems and issues. We have converted this AgriTech as an annual event from 2023 onwards. Our staff and students successfully developed various commercially viable products during the past 5 years. A research team from the Department of Animal Science developed a health beneficial drinking yogurt incorporated with bale fruit syrup. License for producing this yogurt was given to Mullai Milk Processing Industry, a local milk processing industry, under the University Business Linkage Agreement. This is the first licensing of a product outcome of a research in the history of the University of Jaffna. Our faculty researchers successfully produced value-added supercompost and bioplastic packaging materials. License for producing these products commercially was given to 2 local companies under the UBL agreement. These success stories gave an awareness of the importance of research outcomes to solve real-life problems among the academics and students. Our faculty also planning to award a Marketable Innovation Award, which will be selected from the final year research projects of each batch. Finally, I would like to thank all the members of the faculty and the Keynote main premises who helped in various ways to conduct this conference successfully. With this short message, I would like to wind up my address. Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite Professor K. Bhagiradan, Dean of Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna, to deliver his address.
The chief guest and the general chairs of this Jewish conference, Professor Sri Satnuraja, Vice Chancellor of the University of Jaffna, the keynote speaker, the Mr. Sandiford Edwards, the Program Director, United States Aid Development Fund, Caribbean Agriculture, and the guest speaker, Professor Somasundaram from TNU Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, the deans of the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, the professors, heads of the departments, JICA Sri Lanka office representatives, JICA Presida members, administrative staffs of the culinary premises, and the directors and deputy directors of the relevant Department of Agricultural and Animal Sciences, and the lecturers, and the invited delegates, and the evaluators, and my dear students. A warm good morning to all gathered here in the pleasing morning in the pleasant environment. So it is indeed honor as a Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture to address the 10th International Conference on Dry Zone Agriculture 2024, which is being organized as a satellite conference of Jewish 2024 under the theme of Navigating Dry Zone Challenges for Agricultural Excellence. In this year, as a golden jubilee year of the University of Jaffna, the 34 years of existence of the Faculty of Agriculture since its foundation in 1990, this concept of the ICDA conference, formulated in the Silver Jubilee year of this Faculty of Agriculture conducted in 2015. So from the 2015 onwards, 10 years, we are every year organizing these international conferences. This is now it's in the annual calendar of the Faculty of Agriculture, because in the dry zone agriculture, the agriculture is very unique features compared to the intermediate agriculture conducted in intermediate zone and the wet zone of Sri Lanka. As only one of the faculty located in dry zone of the Sri Lanka, so we have to shoulder that the problems raised by the farmers, and we have to give the solution to that farming communities. So therefore, as an academics of this faculty, so we have to conduct a depth researches on agriculture related to the dry zone agriculture. So therefore, I feel that the ICDA is an only platform to disseminate our research findings of the researchers conducted particularly in the dry zone agriculture, would be an added advantage to the national agriculture policy development of the country. Since relocated the faculty in 2014, the government of India, Sri Lankan government, Japanese government are granting and pumping a lot of monies for the capacity building and the research and innovation of this region. So therefore, we have the full-fledged research facilities granted by the JICA grant aid projects. We are undertaking that several depth researches that is mostly related to that community. And also we have that founded that outreach committee through the Faculty of Agriculture. So therefore, we have to shoulder more we are moving towards more to the community. So that's what with the collaboration of these other private stakeholders, Sense Agro Solutions, we have signed an agreement to innovate the modernization technology in the dry zone of this region, as well as we are give our hands to the Commercial Bank of Sri Lanka. So we're going to develop a model village using that tank system of the Keynote region. And also I am very privileged to inform you all to that we are introducing the 2-degree program compared to our undergraduate degree program, Master of Sustainable Agriculture, with the collaboration of this Faculty of Graduate Studies as well as that external BSc in Agriculture degree program. So these degree programs, we are going to incorporate that people who are willing to do advanced researches in the postgraduates, or that students who couldn't able to enter into that university as a state university system, so they can do the undergraduates and they can do researches through these degree programs. So therefore, that from the next couple of years, so we will formalize these programs, then the ICDA would be more strengthened by the research outcomes from these degree programs. So with the beginning in the 10 series of an ICDA, I am assured that Faculty of Agriculture will contribute more to this region, and this ICDA will be a unique identity to that national and international in forthcoming years. Thank you very much for the opportunity, the ICDA communities. So as the successful event, because of joining hands of many brains together working for the success of this conference. Thank you very much for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a great honor to invite our chief guest, Professor S. Raja, the Vice Chancellor, University of Jaffna, to deliver the chief guest address.
திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஆதியாய் நடுவுமாகி அளவிலா அளவுமாகி சோதியாய் உணர்வுமாகி தோன்றிய பொருளுமாகி பேதிய ஏகமாகி பெண்ணும் ஆணுமாகி போதியான் என்ற தில்லை பொதுநடம் போற்றி போற்றி. So in this hymn, a divine poet, circular, glorifying the breathing. This is the fundamental in every living entity. And also being a mathematician, I know the cosmic dance takes place in each atoms, to molecules, to matter, to celestial level, and in the earth itself orbiting with a speed of 107,000 kilometers per hour. Is orbiting, is rotating itself, then a source of our energy, that is a source that is located in the orbit of the earth, that's the ellipse, the place, the source located called focus. You know, focus in the lens and everything, the mirror, concave, convex. So this source is a nuclear power. That power is operating with the fusion technology. The man has made the nuclear reactors, is still operating with the fission technology. So our reactors, we have problem with the waste management because it has a radioactive components like uranium and all kind of heavy metals. But the nature, they have a reactor that's operating with hydrogen. Hydrogen fuse, energy comes. So recently I opened a laboratory in the science faculty. We had a conference, Vinyaram conference in the science faculty last week. So the laboratory is called storage and transformation. So even I know the electrical engineers are here. So they're all trying hard to how to store the energy, because the plenty of energy is available in the universe. So they talk about battery technology. Now we have smartphones, but the problem is you need to charge all the time. So, and the transformation of energy. So they have laboratories with the state-of-art technologies. So these are blossoming in the last century, because you see, last century all the industrial revolution took place. Third, fourth, fifth. We had to wait for a century to get first transformation to second transformation, to mechanical to agricultural. Now nuclear has come. The electronic revolution has come. Now the fifth generation of robotic things are coming, artificial intelligence are coming. Even our first lecture I listened here from Oteka, he was talking about smart agriculture. So this is now happening. So we had to dance with the world. Things are moving. For that purpose, we had to modernize everything. For that purpose, the JICA came as a rescue for research and training center with a 2 billion grant. The Japanese gentlemen are here because they are the leading people in the world. Today I see our Tamil Nadu partner is coming. The Tamil Nadu Velan University, they are going to Somasundaram and their team. So they want to induct us on the startups, agribusiness. We are trying. We are just making a move on this direction. Today the expertise are coming. This is a conference is all about connecting. So in this transformation and storage, just imagine who is the storage of the entire energy that is required for our existence in this earth? The plants. The plants. They are doing from time immemorial, before university come, before your research come. They are storing. Now the fossil fuel energy has been drawn from the ground, because stored. The nature has own plans, but we intervene and we had our own problems. Because we have our business motive, and sometimes we recommend a process, then we recommend to amend the process. Now we are thinking about organic farming again. After doctor says you have a lot of problems prevailing. So this is an immature way of we are handling things, but nature is the most fruitful source of discoveries. In the nature also, while I was driving now, 1.5 hours on the roads, I see all the plants, they are storing. Not only they are giving vegetables and grains, they are giving our firewood, our furniture resource material to do all the carpentry works. Big trees are there. Big trees, they have own plans. How the weather controlled. Now the global warming, somebody addressing it. No, holistically. So that's what now experts are merging here, to sit down and think to our own problems. Because research done in solitude. As a human beings, we are the only being in this entire universe known to be intelligent being. Maybe the angels are there. We don't have the email address anyway. We don't have a direct communications. There is no evidence of life beyond this planet. This is the planet. It's like a small point in the universe, in the infinite universe. It still is cherished. You don't need to import anything from outside. Everything is inside. But we develop borders. We develop continents. We develop passport. We develop tariff. There are plenty of food in this world. The plenty of aquatic resources are there. Sharing is the problem. We found the way. Now we found the subsidies for the farmers, because the farming is not more a viable business everywhere in the world. Even Europe, you have a subsidy system. Even Japan, you have a subsidy system. And plenty of food is there because people pay more money to the phone than food. They want the food in a very cheap price, but they spend a lot of money for the clothes. Fashion, even the facial cream is very expensive than any food in the world. Makeup stuff. So this is the modern world. So now we are talking about sustainability, development. So we, as a human being, is an individual. I have own fingerprint. So I have to make my own contribution to the world. So the contribution should support the existence. I am a mathematician. I derive certain things. For example, Einstein derived this equation coming from a theory of special theory of relativity. Very wonderful. Only few people understood when he was saying this. From there, the nuclear revolution came. Then the Steve Jobs and other people, they were developing this coding and computing and all this. Now our computer engineering is there, the embedded system is there. So a live stream going on. But a century ago, someone called James Clerk Maxwell, unifying all the electricity and magnetism. So energy is there. Now we talk about renewable energies. So we, time to time, we make a lot of chorus. But as an individual, my existence in this planet is very limited. Veda Nutprayam, Manadar Nure Puve Renum, Padiyam Urangi Puvum, Adil Padinayand Pere Palaganagum, Mupupuni Pasi Tunbam, Agalal Puravi Vendi, Narangama Nagarulani. So what I am saying is, in this lifespan, half of the life goes to sleeping. You need 8 hours sleep, doctors recommend anyway. Then first 15 years goes into like a child. You only followed what other people say. So you have your nursery rhymes, then you had your lessons, so you don't have independent thinking. So where the independent thinking come in the adolescent period, that's what the university is created. University is not that very old. The oldest university, Oxford or Bologna, is only 900 years old. Our university is 50 years old. I don't know, the Japanese university may be 600 years old, Paris 800 years old. So we built the universities. Where the top aptitude people for pushing this knowledge frontier into another level, they're pushing the horizon, were invited. Not everyone cannot come. Even Plato said, don't enter this place unless you understand some mathematics and physics and things like that. That's the way the Greek university is written. It's not for everybody because you need to have an Olympic to qualify. The Grenada man is there. So the best runners coming from the West Indies. Usain Bolt group is here. The world girls, magic. Even when I get bored, I look at the YouTube and see how this energy pumping. Not for everybody. Can't have a Sri Lankan run 100 meters? Of course, Susandika ran. She got the silver medal. One lady, entire history. So this aptitude should be there. Then the adolescent people with the proven ability entering the university to do 3 things. Imparting knowledge. I know the professor from Peridenia come. I'm very eager to talk because one of the oldest nice agriculture faculty and they have the agriculture technology and they have so many gentlemen there. It's one of the vast developed place in this part of the world. Then Tamil Nadu, Verlan Subramaniam is famous. I know that he made the green revolution in India under Indira Gandhi's regime. Then after green revolution, every household in India got the milk distributed in the doorstep. Even when I was in India for some reason, then doorstep the milk is distributed. So that's a system they developed. So those people are here. So what I am saying is imparting knowledge. That is the business of the university, first thing. How do you impart knowledge? Unless you create it. So those days we let some elite places to create. Now globalized world, the research contribution coming from here, because we cannot apply the theory developed in US in the Keynote. The Keynote soil is different. Keynote, the microbes are different. Keynote weather is different. Keynote, every single atom is different from other part of the world. So we have to have an indigenous way of creating knowledge. That's what this ICDA is all about. And our university in Keynote created, because this is the green ball of the northern province. So northern province, where people say the GDP contribution is less. Don't worry. Are we borrowing anything from anybody else? Fruit excess, milk excess, grain excess, fish excess. So why do you worry about producing anything and selling? You have excess everything. Look at enjoy the fruits, ladies and gentlemen, while you are here. Excess. We don't need to import. But our people import tin fish. You know, our politicians, they import eggs. Because they have their way of mismanaging this country. So the fertilizers came, the urea came from German scientists 100 years ago. Then the entire world population growth, the sigmoidal curve, got into another jump because of the fertilizer introduction 100 years ago. You see the population growth is jumping because of more food. So here, ladies and gentlemen, while I was talking about the plant, there are so many plants in this both sides of the road, entire world, but the fruit-bearing plants, only few. I don't see in the roads any fruit-bearing plants, very few. Because those are the ones, they are the top researchers. Those are the ones contributing the knowledge assimilation of the entire human beings. That may be Thomas Alva Edison, that may be Maxwell, that may be Verlan Subramanian, and all kind of scientists. They work in a solitude. They are not the richest people. You know, they work in very lonely environment and they contribute. So they like in our system working in the back end. And the conference is the only place. Even Einstein said, what is his pleasure in the world? Sharing his knowledge with the students, training the other young mind, the likable mind. And then he said, playing the music while he's in the, small boat in a river. So these are the only pleasure he had. I don't think he made any money or any trust or any companies. The best brain in the world. Lot of sacrifice. That's what the knowledge, bring happiness. That's what the scientists pursue. Today a gentleman came from Grenada, an Indian team is come, not to enjoy life here. I don't think they are going to go to any club or anything like that. So they are coming here, tomorrow they are going to do a workshop. Because service brings happiness. Among the service, supporting existence is the most important. That is the Japanese gentlemen are here. I know Japan, how good they are. So why they are staying in this place and doing? With this the commitment. I know Professor Ogata, retired people, emeritus professors are living in Jaffna. This is the way. Academic freedom is defined long time ago in the world. The modern world came into existence, the democratic system, passport system, visa system only within after the Second World War. Before, Europe is a dangerous place. Even the Mongolian monarchs are operating, Japanese were all over the place, for different purpose. So all those areas, the scholars are given freedom to move around. That is academic freedom. It doesn't matter which monarch ruling which place. They were given freedom to move, to share knowledge. This is more important for the human beings. So we are human beings. We are celebrating our existence, our physical existence, our intellectual existence, our social existence, our emotional existence. I don't know, Byron, you haven't put any dance or music after the conference. If you go to Japan, they do. Because our emotional existence, I have a lot of problem in managing our staff because mentally they are not rhyming. The rhythm of life is not there. Not a problem among the department. Some laborers are writing, the head of the department is torturing and getting letters like that. So the rhythm of life, we have to maintain so emotional existence, then our universal existence. We stay in this planet as a journey. So we do our best, what we could do while we are living. While we are living. So get something for us, support our existence, and we deliver something. That's what the parents have done for us. I know the retired civil answer is here, our former council member. So why does he come here? Doesn't have any place to go at this old age. So this is what to give a pleasure for a knowledge, domain. So hearing from the wise, we become wise. I thank our Dean Bhairadan and Vasandaruba, conference chair, and our convener made everything very nice. I know Transcend has a tremendous potential. While she was a student, she excelled in the sports. She is an all-round sportswoman. And then she need to be tamed, I know. She is rebelling. I know young people are like that. So she has delivered something very nice. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have a very beautiful 2 days. Our life is made of days. So it's wonderful. I am really envious of you because what a nice decoration of these people have come to deliver something to excite our, intellectual domain and assimilation and cognitive. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I wish you all the best and all the participant. I really want to tell you, my master used to say, participation brings progress. So your participation today, hearing from the wise, you become wise. Thank you very much. I thank the Lord for all the opportunities.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Now it's time for the release of proceedings of ICDA 2024. For that, may I kindly request Dr. Mrs. S. Pradeepan, the Chief Editor of ICDA 2024, to proceed further. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand. Good morning, everyone. We are about to reach a significant milestone in our conference journey today. We are pleased to announce the first copy of our conference proceedings will be now formally handed over to our Vice Chancellor by our esteemed conference chair. So I invite our conference chair, Professor S. Vasandaruba, and our Vice Chancellor to hand over the proceedings. Please join with us in celebrating this important event as we welcome our conference chair, Professor S. Vasandaruba, to present the inaugurant copy to our Vice Chancellor, Professor S. Sri Satgururaja. Thank you, sir. And now I invite our Vice Chancellor to present the proceeding to the keynote speaker for the day, Mr. Standiford R. Edwards, Program Director, USAID, Funded Caribbean Agriculture Productivity Improvement Activity, Grenada. Thank you. Next, I'll call our Chief Guest, Professor E. Somasundaram, Director, Agribusiness Development and Professor in Agronomy, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, to proceed the proceedings. Thank you, sir. And may I also call Dr. S. Vasiharan, Provincial Director, Department of Animal Production and Health, to receive the proceedings from the Vice Chancellor. Thank you, sir. Now we invite our Dean, Professor K. Bahiradan, to present the proceedings to Emeritus Professor Koichi Ozami, JICA Expert, Presida, University of Jaffna. And I also call Professor Ogata, JICA expert, to receive the proceedings from the Dean. And may I also request Mr. S. Rajesh Khanna, Assistant Director, Agriculture, Regional Agriculture Research Development Center, to receive the proceedings. Also, I request Mr. S. Selvakumar, Assistant Director, Seed Certification Service, Parandan, to receive the proceedings from the Dean. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And now I invite our convener for ICDA 2024, Dr. Mrs. S. Terensen, to present the proceedings to Dr. S. Gauditilagan, Assistant Director, Department of Animal Production and Health, to receive the proceedings. Professor. And I also request Professor Emeritus Professor Sivayohan to receive the present proceedings. And I request Professor Nimalan to receive the proceedings from the Dean, please. And I request Dr. S. Kajaranjan, Veterinary Surgeon, Keynote, to receive the proceedings. And now I request Mrs. S. Jagadiswari, Deputy Director Extension, Keynote, to receive the proceedings. And now I call Mr. T. Sujeevan, Program Manager, Laika Jnanam Foundation. Or anybody from to receive on behalf of Jnanam Foundation? Okay, next, Mr. Janin, Manager, CIC. Next, Mr. Saracharan, IDB. I request Mrs. Ahalya, Manager Cargills, to receive the proceedings. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Madam and distinguished dignitaries. Before moving to the next agenda, I kindly request Chief Guest and other delegates to be seated in your reserved seats, please.
Keynote speaker.
Please begin. Yes, speaker, yes, speaker. Please, okay. Dear ladies and gentlemen, may I now request Professor Mrs. Srimati Sivachandran, Professor in Agronomy, Department of Agronomy, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna, to introduce the keynote guest speaker, Professor E. Somasundaram, Director of Agribusiness Development and Professor in Agronomy, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, India, to our esteemed audience. Thank you.
the Vice Chancellor, University of Jaffna, Conference Chair, Deans of the Faculties, Keynote Speaker, Guest Speaker, Invitees, Presenters, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you all. This morning, we have the privilege to listen a renowned agriculture expert from the Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Coimbatore, India. I am honored to introduce today's guest speaker, Professor Somasundaram, Professor in Agronomy, attached to Department of Sustainable Organic Agriculture, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, India. Currently, he is serving as the Director of the Agribusiness Development Center at the Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. Dr. Somasundaram is a distinguished agricultural scholar, obtained his BSc degree program from Annamala University in 1989. He completed his master degree in agronomy in 1991 and Doctor of Philosophy in agronomy in 2003 from the Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. Dr. Somasundaram awarded gold medals for his academic excellence in all degree programs. With a career spanning over 27 years at the Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, he has held several key positions in the university and outside the university. He served as the head of the Department of Sustainable Organic Agriculture. He is a pioneer in organic farming. He contributed significantly to the development of organic agriculture, especially focused on nutrition and weed management. And also, he concentrated validating organic farming practices and developing innovative organic inputs. As the Director of Agribusiness Center, Dr. Somasundaram continues to lead the shaping the agricultural landscape. He has several achievements, and to mention few, he developed the system of cultivating dry lands, testing and releasing water from the Tamarabarani River for irrigation, and vital contribution to ICR National Farming Committee. Outside academic excellence, he has authored several undergraduate textbooks and numerous research articles and received awards for best researcher in several times. He actively participated in the press meet and interview as the public relations officer of the university. He attended several international conferences and the national conference. He coordinated several training programs to the farmers and trained more than 2,000 farmers, especially in the organic farming. A dedicated educator, Dr. Somasundaram has guided several PhD and postgraduate students, mainly in the organic farming, and especially contributing the organic farming community in the India. So he is a very relevant keynote speaker, the speaker today, because the organic farming is getting very influence in Sri Lanka, especially in the dry zone, and his experience is very much related to ours. So I'm happy to invite Dr. Somasundaram to deliver his guest speech at this stage. Sir, this is over to you.
விளைவை அனைத்தும் வித்திடை அடங்க அருள் செய்து அமைத்த அருட்பெருஞ்சோதியை வணங்கி the most respected and honorable, the divineful and very religious, blessed Vice Chancellor of Jaffna University, the Dean of this Faculty of Agriculture, distinguished delegates from different parts of the world, from West Indies, and the Japanese advisory professors, and the eminent deans and directors of this province, northern Sri Lankan province, faculties of this esteemed college, participants, my dear student friends, and also the faculty from Tamil Nadu Agricultural University. Good morning to all. I feel proud to be here for two reasons. One, I wish to see the historical Yuddha Bhumi, that is this Yalpanam and other areas, where I have great respect to the fighters. And second one, this is the domain or the country where government has attempted to implement the organic farming to a larger level. For some reasons, it could not come up well. As an organic farming researcher, I was so happy to hear that Sri Lanka has been declared as a production system using its own resources. But later on, I could see some of the if and buts. And I was also contacted by some of the press and media from Sri Lankan media people. Then due to political reasons, we could not share our opinion. And I'm happy that this is the platform to share one or 2 points and also a detailed account how to create a successful roadmap for organic farming in tomorrow's workshop. Fine. A clear roadmap is very, very important before venturing into any type of transforming activity. That is my humble opinion. Organic farming is very successful and gaining momentum throughout the globe. around 182 countries are practicing organic farming. If it is not successful, many of the countries would not have declared that they are fully organic. Some of the Oceania and Australia is leading, Turkey is leading. Many of the countries are very successful in organic farming. Recently, the Cuba also declared that 100% organic. Some of the states in India also declared 100% organic. Sikkim is the state, the northeastern province of India. Northeastern states are one by one going to declare as fully 100% organic states. My presence is very relevant to this conference. Reason being, it is the conference addressing the issues of dry zone areas, wherein the use of resources are very much limited and the blessings of gods are, the nature is more. Organic farming, the long-term practice of organic farming leads to natural farming, because gone are the days our forefathers cleared the forest and then started cultivating crops of our interest. So the dry zone or rainfed areas are the proper areas where we can practice organic farming, not as mere farming, but do as a successful agribusiness. How it can be done? So some of the thought process I am having in mind, I would like to share. And once again, I thank for the opportunity and my good mornings and also my best wishes to the students. I'll just enter into my topic, startups and agribusiness opportunities in drylands. I could hear from our esteemed dean that this area is blessed with 1200 mm of rainfall. Adequate to produce 2 crops successfully and 1 intercrop also. So put together 3 crops. So 200 plus cropping intensity is possible. As an agronomist, I could visualize. Making it as a food produce, as rightly told by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sun cooked, no needs for further cooking. Sun cooked is uncooked. That brings a lot of energy. Through the process of cooking or value addition as food, we may add something physically to the nature's food to strengthen its nutritional aspects. But by nature, if you keep the soil and water alive, then no need for any supplementation. That is the recent concept we had in Tamil Nadu to create any value added products. No preservatives, no additives. The reason being, nature itself is blessed with all. There are about 20 to 30 rains during the peak growing season. Each rain will bring some nutrients. That is the understanding. As an organic researcher, we started working on that. In the month of June, we are receiving the monsoon. Through that monsoon, we are getting some of the nutrients like N and molybdenum. How it is done? Because every mega constellation, every cloud forming process, the nutrients that are required for making greenery and produce something for the people dependent on the domain is properly addressed by bringing that nutrient into the soil, and in conjunction with the soil life, it is made into a food. That is what our ancient saint poet Avaya told. Nilam Tirthi one, that's what she used to say. You till the soil and then triumph and then take the food. What I want to say, what we are taking as food is nothing but soil and water. So that is the understanding we all should have in mind. So we should take care of the soil, we should take care of the soil microbes. In turn, the soil microbes will produce crops. In the recent past, we tried to give nutrition to the crops, ignoring the soil life. That's why we are facing a lot of problems. So it's the duty of the soil life to produce crops, provide nutrition, nitrifying bacteria, ammonifiers, nitrifiers, phosphorus fixers, solubilizers, mobilizers, all these are in the soil. A gram of soil contains more than 5 billion microorganisms. It is their role to produce crops. Our role is to provide a conducive environment, soil environment, in such a way that building the organic carbon content of the soil so that rest will be taken care of. This is the mere understanding. I'll just enter into agribusiness. You know that from farm gate to plate, whatever that is happening is agribusiness. Lot of opportunities in drylands, because I'm insisting this because the originality is there in dryland harvest. The total soluble salts in drylands, of course some of the pomologists are in my team to present tomorrow and today. They know better that the harvest from the drylands, the fruits are more tastier than anything that is produced through the irrigated ecosystem or the artificially nourished ecosystem. And I could understand from the literature and review and also the research papers of this university that mostly the dryland crops like sesame and maize and some sorghum and some of the millets are being successfully grown in addition to two-season rice, some of the 2 seasons. So globally, the natural farming or unprocessed food, unadulterated food, or the food free from preservatives are mostly preferred and exported. Now in Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, I think on the emeritus professor from Japan, who is in the team of Jaffna University of Professors, he has recently visited our university with a team of faculties, especially to my agribusiness directorate, to visualize what are happening, what are the smart things that are happening to make the farmer as a successful entrepreneur or a businessman. The marketing is a significant keeping in making the farmer profitable. There are 4 P's, I used to say, I'm not going in detail. So product quality, if it is of natural origin, without any synthetic fertilizer or pesticide residues or heavy metals or mycotoxins, etc., including antibiotics and allergens, then it is the most preferred food globally for export. I am focusing the dryland products. Honorable Vice Chancellor told that the fruits are excess, grains are in excess in this domain. The excess should be converted into dollars by way of simple primary processing and small value addition. And recently our university has developed a technology called a retort packaging, wherein nothing can go inside or come out. You can keep the food, cooked food. If some of your grandma or mother is having a good recipe or prepare a good chicken gravy or mutton biryani like that, you can put it into that process of deep technology so that biryani will be alive for about 2 years, not in days or months. Once you cut open, it will be for 12 hours. Until then, it will be for 2 years. Such technologies has come. No need for any preservatives like citric acid, ascorbic acid, or this monosodium benzoate, so-called Ajinomoto. I used to say to my students that Ajinomoto, the motto is Ajirnam. Ajirnam is the motto. In the long run, it will lead to diabetes and lifestyle diseases. So product quality, if it is free from contaminants, then the quality is assured. No need for test. If you put it into any process, any enable accredited lab or global standard lab, no residues will come. You can be damn sure of it if the production system is taken care of. Second is price, affordable to the global community. There are so many admas here. How many of you are affordable for the export quality cashew nut or export quality tea or export quality rice? Treating human as common, you need to have a gentle and justified price. And third one is promotion. We are living in the world of advertisement. We need promotion. That promotion should go from the horse mouth, that is the consumer to consumer. And finally the place, we need to have accessible place. Now smart technology like digital platform, all these have come. Since many of the participants are from the young age, they are the owners of startup. They are the brainchild of startups. So startup is nothing but anyone who is having the businessable idea, innovative idea, to convert this idea into a good business without any investment. Gone are the days when we talk about business. When I was completing agriculture 30 years back, I asked, I will do business. My father said, who is the idiot who will pay for you, for your business? I can't say that you are that man. So now the change and challenge and creativity, curiosities are very important. Curiosity is very important than cash. Every government, every venture capitalist, every angel investors are interested to fund for you. And the business should go in such a way that overnight he will turn into a different environment. He will take his business to a greater heights. You see the value of value addition. If the farmer sells the raw corn, it will fetch only 5 rupees. If he do some roasting, he will get 10 rupees. If he pop it, he will get 20 rupees. If it is branded, branding alone comes 3 times the production cost. 15 rupees added, 35 rupees is the pack. If it is sold in malls or theaters, then you know the value, 50 to 150 rupees the same. You are ready to pay, as rightly told by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, people are reluctant to pay for the quality food, rather they can ready to pay for the dangerous sets, that is the mobiles. So the value addition dryland can be in such a way that the millets can be very well value added, removing its undesirable traits and qualities. Very well it can be converted into a quality food. And moringa based, moringa is the wonder and miracle tea that a lot of things I will discuss in tomorrow's workshop. Arid zone fruit crops, they are highly nutritious. They are meant here to address our ailments and our deficiencies. All the greeneries that are coming in a particular environment by nature, I believe as a natural farming researcher, it is meant for the people in that area and also for the cattle or the other dependent living organisms. Not to sell, not to bring anything import by import and taking. So the vegetables that are grown in and around you are the better safeguarders, are the protecting shields for your health. The fruits that are grown in your area are the better nutritional stuff that needs to be taken. So that's why in the back garden, gone are the days, our elders, they try to raise the needed stuff as a component or recipe in our food in the back steps, starting from curry leaf to papaya. Smart farming technologies have come to play. As an agronomist, I know that the major cost of production lies on weeding. Simple robotic weed clearance tools have come. Of course, weeds are the children of the soil. As a natural and organic farming researcher, I believe more on that, making that weed into a nutrition. That is one of my successful research outcome by my good PhD scholars. So the weeds are the children of the soil. They know what is needed for the companion crop, so that it will pump and browse the nutrients and bring it to the top organic or A horizon, so that the better production is possible. Destroying weeds is putting ourselves into trouble. That is my understanding. Because I can quote a lot of weeds that brings nutrition. There are about 27 nutrients required for plant growth. When I was completing my BS degree, they told 60. When I did MSc, 17. Then later on PhD, they said 21. Before my retirement, I believe they will say 27. Because 27 is related to 27 stars and mega constellations, 108 related 27 into 4. That is why whenever we want to break something for the God, we break 108 coconuts. Because everything is related, everything is cyclic, everything is dynamic rather. So you see some of the possibilities in drylands. The youngsters can become an entrepreneurs by treating the seeds. 100% germination in drylands is very, very important. Because for want of time, I would like to share, this is standing before my mind, the dryland farmers, they are the real-time gods. ஒரு புறநானூற்று பாடல் with the permission of our Honorable Vice Chancellor. ஆயின மலை பொழிய அகத்தடியால் மெய் நோக அடிமை சாக மா ஈரம் போகுதென்று விதை கொண்டு ஓட இல்லம் வீழ சாவோலை கொண்டொருவன் எதிரே வர சர்ப்பம் தீண்ட கோவரி கேட்டு காவலன் குறுக்கிட குறுக்களும் தட்சணை கொடு என்றாரே என்று ஒரு புறநானூற்று பாடல் உண்டது. அந்த பாட்டல் என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னா, ஈனனா மாடு கண்ணு போடுது, மழை பொழியன்னா ஈரம் வருது, ப்ரீ மான்சூன் சோயிங்காக ஓடுறாரு அந்த சீடை எடுத்துக்கிட்டு ஃபார்மர். அகத்தடியால் மெய் நோகன்னா வைஃப் உடம்பு சரியில்லாம படுத்திருக்கிறாங்க. அடிமை சாக, அந்த பண்ணையால் இறந்துட்டான் ரீசென்ட்லி. சாவோலை கொண்டு வரும் எதிரே வர, உன்னுடைய க்ளோஸ் ரிலேட்டிவ் இறந்துட்டான், ஸ்டாப் பண்ணியா, விதைக்காத, வா போலான்னு ஒருத்த கூப்பிடுறான். அவர் ஓடுற போது வரப்புல இருந்த சர்ப்பம் பாம்பு அவரை தீண்டிடுது. கோவேந்தன் குடியுரிமை கேட்டு குறுக்கிட அந்த சேவகன் அங்கிருந்து வரான், லாஸ்ட் இயர் வந்து நிலவரி நீ கட்டல, உன்னை விதைக்க அலோவ் பண்ண முடியாதுன்னு சொல்றான். அந்த ஊர்ல விளையிறதை எல்லாருக்கும் சமமா பிரிச்சு கொடுக்கணும். குருக்கள்னு சொல்லக்கூடிய அந்த பூஜாரி, அந்த கோயில் இருக்கக்கூடிய பிரீஸ்ட் வந்து என்னுடைய பங்கு நீ குறுக்கல, உன்னை விதைக்க முடியாதுங்கிறார். சோ இவ்வளவையும் மீறி ஒருத்தன் ஓடி போய் விதைக்க போறான்னா ஒரு ட்ரைலேண்ட் ஃபார்மர் என்ன ஒரு பிரையாரிட்டி, என்ன ஒரு உள்ள மனித சமுதாயத்தின் மீதும் கால்நடை மீதும் அவருக்குள்ள ஒரு அக்கறை. ஏன்னா அடி காட்டுக்கு நடு மாட்டுக்கு நுனி வீட்டுக்குன்னு சொல்லி 3 சமுதாயத்தையும் பார்க்கக்கூடிய ஒரு பொறுப்புணர்ச்சியோட நம்மளாம் நினைச்சு பாருங்க. குளோரிஃபைடு லேபரா இருக்கிற நம்ம எப்படி, விவசாயி எப்படி. ஆனால் ஆல் த டைம் ஐ ஹம்பிளி சப்மிட் பிஃபோர் திஸ் ஆகஸ்ட் கேதரன்ஸ், விவசாயி இல்லை என்றால் உலகம் இல்லை, உழவு இல்லை என்றால் உலகம் இல்லை, உணவு இல்லை என்றால் உலகம் இல்லை. அதை நம்ம நல்லா புரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டு அவங்களுக்காக நம்மளால் ஒரு சிறு துளி, ஒரு நானோ மூமெண்டாவது நம்ம வாழ்க்கையில செய்ய வேண்டும். அதைத்தான் துணிவேந்தர் அவர்கள் அழகாக கூறினார்கள். இந்த விதைக்கிறதுன்னு வந்து ப்ரீமான்சன், மடி விதைக்கு முன்னே பிடி விதை முளைக்கும்ங்கிற அளவுக்கு வளமான மண். What I want to say, because foreign delegates are there, the farmers, they used to have the seeds on their hip as a bundle and take some seeds for broadcasting in anticipation of the drizzling. So when they broadcast the seeds, that grows earlier than the seeds that are taken for the next lot. See the fertility of soil our forefathers had, the organic carbon content and soil life. We are blessed with such a wonderful production ecosystem. We need to take care of it. So value addition, you can do wonderful coatings so that it will be taken care of till it reaches some vegetative stage. And next technique is hydroponics and aeroponics. These are very successful for the previous crops, high value crops. And these stickers, whatever we produce, 30% is going as a loss, even in the dryland environment, because of the external reasons or abiotic and biotic factors. So we need to develop. One of our innovative incubative entrepreneur, he has developed a technology, sticks fresh. If you see the fruit that is stick with the stick, and also the another thing that is not without the sticker. So the value of the technology that is provided by the universities or the academic institutions. So a lot of success stories I can quote. B&B Organics, 2 graduates 4 years back, they graduated a biotech, BTech horticultural students. They started into domestic and export marketing. They are doing a wonderful organic farming. So I treat these dry zone areas as the wonderful ecosystem for producing export oriented or quality organic products. How it can be done, I can throw some of my views in the next tomorrow's presentation among the students. They are doing now, started with the 10 lakhs, now they are doing 4.7 crore business. Another millet in minutes. So like our we try to change all the everyday preferred junk foods of our youngsters, because it is very hard to change the mindset of the youngsters to take the quality stuffs. Our forefathers food like kali or this upuma and this, no, they say that upuma, my daughter used to say tapuma, no, should not do that. So nobody likes it. We have to change noodles or the pasta or these preferred junk foods with some nutritional benefits. So he started with the 2 lakhs, now they are doing 60 lakh business. They are all our incubators. That is why I am projecting 1 or 2 and dermic nutraceuticals. So the wonderful thing in this company, the startup is one drop. If the gentleman from West Indies want to have a ginger tea, he can bring the water, hot water. By putting 1 drop, like an eye drop, the total will get converted into ginger tea. If you put 2nd drop, very hard to take, very pungent, very concentrated. So that is the power they have in the startups. 1 drop solutions, as IITians mentored by our university food technologies, they have developed this company. And Eat and Greet is another wonderful company where 20 plus crispy and healthy snacks are being exported. I could see some of the products in Sri Lankan market also. They started with the 3 lakhs, now it is 50 lakhs within a period of 24 months. So my dear young minds, I request you just to peep into any incubation forum or any incubators, so that your idea, whether you have a crude idea or not, proof of concept can be converted into a prototype or a businessable product. Then your company will be registered and patented, your innovative things will be patented, will take IP protection, everything, and branding, that is more important. Aadi padi or all padi. So the way we present to the community is more important than the stuff inside. So next is bringing the grants, subsidies, equities and debentures from government, soft loans, and we will make it as an entrepreneur. So these are some of the entrepreneurs in biotechnology division in the Dryland ecosystem. They are producing a lot of microbes. Fine. I'm going to end very shortly. There are two things that change the life. Can anyone say at least one? Okay. Two things, education and entrepreneurship. If you get employed, then you will get the job conveniently. You will buy a car by EMI after 10 years, build a house after 20 years, EMI. That is, I am sharing my experience. Don't mistake. And give something to your kith and kins after 25 years, after meeting your own requirement, daughter and son marriage and other things. After you are sumptuous, then you will give excess. It's not the thing that gives as a dana, as excess. What is required for you should be given to others, and what is available after giving should be taken by you. That is how our forefathers did that era. You may be knowing this gentleman from IIM. Anybody can say, because globally he is known. Wherever airport is there, he is there. Sorry, I don't know whether it is in Sri Lanka or not. He is Mustafa. He, along with his kith and kin, started, because his mother is a idli maker on roadside. A long queue will be standing to get that idli from his mother, including him. Mother will not give preference that he is his son. He is her son. So knowing the value of our mother recipe, he started ID Italy. Now it is being exported to 82 countries and his turnover last year is 600 crores. So that is the potential of entrepreneurship. And again, this is education plus entrepreneurship. That is the power. You see, is Kiran Majumdar. She is the world famous biotechnologist, turned biotechnologist. Basically, she learned the winemaking and worked in different Irish and foreign countries as an advisor. Later on, he entered into Biocon International. Now, all the diabetic patients who are taking the insulin is from her company. 2,000 crores turnover. She started with 10,000 rupees in a garage, started extracting some of the bioproducts from papaya, and now she is in the helm of it. So, what do you get in entrepreneurship? People may ask, I will get a job, got married and be completely 9 to 5, I am so convenient. If you are concerned about others, if you are concerned about the country, if you are concerned about the farmers, then do entrepreneurship. So, time and energy, money, everything will be with you when you do the entrepreneurship. Innovation is the key for entrepreneurial ecosystem. I told, what is innovation? You see, this is innovation. Putting chair like this, one has to adjust and then come out and go in. But the innovation make a turn and then go whatever the direction you wish to have. This is innovation. Extending the shelf life of the produced material, because we incur money and produce something that should not go as waste. Say a vain, right? We need to convert it into a gain. How to identify innovation? Sir, I don't know what to do. Then you address the long felt need of the farmers or the village. Find a new solution and discuss with the mentors. Do some out of box thinking, discuss with your friends. After graduation, you friends, you can form together a startup and then do business, and you can make money within a short span of time. I will tell that also. So improvement over the existing approach is innovation from the agriculture sector. We treat and commercially valuable and useful things have to be done, not the redundant or repeatable things. Opportunities are unlimited in the seed sector, in the packing sector, this different way of growing crops. Even for the birthday, our startup is sending a parcel. When you open the parcel, the plant will come out and say happy birthday to you. Plant me in an appropriate place and take care of me every day. That is the recording made by our startup. So that is a wonderful thing I treat, that young minds are blessed with a lot of ideas, need to be converted into business. So seed ornaments, I could see this recently. I visited the United States, where in the airport, one of the young agriculture graduates from University of Albany, where I am the visiting professor, she collected the grains, spillover grains from the field and started doing the ornaments. How wonderful it is. This $7, $8. 1 kg may not cost that much. So these are ideas. These are the global agri startups doing wonderful. They are the unicorns. Unicorns means more than 1 billion turnover per year. So TNA is blessed with so many incubation forums. Some of the scientists from Jaffna also they visited. We are ready to help. In the presence of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, I would like to share some points that TNA can come forward to create a good incubation system in Jaffna University. If the university permits, we are ready to sign a MOU with the university because our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. V. Geeta Lakshmi from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Madam has signed a viable functional 32 MOUs with 32 countries in the globe. So we are happy to support because one way or other we have the brotherhood affection and attachment with our Sri Lankans. You are all our brothers and sisters. We want to do something. Even for the organic farming policy of Tamil Nadu and Government of India, I am the member as the head of the Department of Sustainable Organic Agriculture, and also recently in the National Committee for Farming and Developing Syllabus and Curricula for Natural Farming, BSc Honours in Natural Farming, MSc Honours, etc., etc. New educational policy, diploma and certificate courses. So we are really happy to support. Whatever the resources available, we will make an inventory and develop the structure and curricula so that the farmers will be sustainable and profitable. So these are the incubation facilities we have. We do lot of services. For want of time, this is the traditional farming system you have. I want to give you a detail, but want of time, I am rushing. These are the possibilities that can be done in your this northern province. And finally, 5 driving forces of our entrepreneurship that stimulates or sensitizes you. First and foremost is personal. Within a year, a startup can buy a car, high quality car, premium car. He can also concurrently address farmers' issues, fight for the malnutrition through value addition. Philanthropy, because recently you would have heard about Achi Masala and Shakti Masala. They are the products that you could have seen in the market for masala food products, supplements. They are all our incubators. We are proud of it. Recently, I met them and I got, by simple 1 hour discussion, I could able to get 50 lakhs as a grant for supporting research. So that is the possibility. When I make you as an entrepreneur, you give many folds to institutions. So that is advantage. You can see all this starting from Shivraj Nada to Azim Premji, Ambani, Nilkani, and Ajay Piramal. All are supporting education, research, health, all the sectors of the needy community because they are all business people. And finally, the environment, saving the world. So why startup fail? Because they ran out of cash. Now that is not a problem. Global community is coming forward. Market can be created very well. Digital platforms. In our university, we are having like Flipkart or Amazon. We are having AgriCart, TNA AgriCart. Anything farmer can add, order and then doorsteps it will come with this minimum shipping cost. So marketing is a big thing that comes into mind whenever we become an entrepreneur, and some of the challenges that can be very well addressed when we become a member in the incubation forum. Reasons for failure: out of 10, 9 are failing. The reason being they are not having a hand-holding support. Very good example of startup: Ola, Uber, all these things, food ordering, Zomato, all this Swiggy, all are successful because once you take that idea, even hotel booking, you are having the OYO. So it is very successful. Only thing is you need some mentor team and also the structure. So that is suppose. Thank you for the opportunity and time taken more than my permitted time by our beloved Swantini. So if opportunity is given, again we want to take you into the right stream and support for the benefit of all in the community in this country. Thank you. Thank you once again, the organizers.
Thank you very much for your incredible speech, sir. Now it's the time for issuing of souvenirs to our dignitaries. For that, I would like to invite Professor K. Bhagirathan, Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna, to issue the souvenir to the conference chair of Professor S. Vasandaruba, Professor in Agricultural Chemistry, Department of Agricultural Chemistry, University of Jaffna. Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor S. Vasundaruba, the conference chair of ICD 2024, to deliver the souvenir to the chief guest of ICD 2024, Professor S. Sri Satkunaraja, the Vice Chancellor of University of Jaffna. And I request Professor S. Shatkunaraja, the Vice Chancellor, University of Jaffna, to deliver the souvenir to Dean Professor K. Pagirathan, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna. And also I request our chief guest to deliver the souvenir to our keynote speaker, Mr. Sandifer R. Edwards, Program Director. Thank you, sir. So now I request Dr. Mrs. Terrenson, the convener of ICD 2024, to deliver the souvenir to the guest speaker, Professor E. Somasundaram, Professor in Agronomy, Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, India. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, all. Dear ladies and gentlemen, now I cordially invite Dr. K. Suryakumar, Head, Department of Agriculture Economics, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna, to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Sandifer R. Edwards, Development Specialist, Program Director, USAID Funded Caribbean Agriculture Productivity Improvement Activity, Grenada, to our esteemed audience. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Sandifer R. Edwards. He is the Program Director of USAID-funded Caribbean Agriculture Productivity Improvement Activity. Mr. Sandifer R. Edwards is a Grenadian national, and he holds a master degree in development finance with specialization in finance structuring, agriculture and SME finance, and climate and renewable energy finance for small island developing states from the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, Germany. A Master of Business Administration from Oxford Brookes University, United Kingdom. Certification from the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA, United Kingdom. Certified Marketing Consultant and Professional Certification from University of Cambridge in Disaster Risk Financing. He was also a council member on the Global Environment Facilities representing the Caribbean. He has been Grenada focal point for many institutions such as World Bank, Caribbean Development Bank, Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Green Climate Fund, United Nations organizations. He has over 20 years experience working in the Caribbean region with emphasis on structuring investment for the development of regional agriculture, engaging both public official and private sector leaders. He has also worked with the Ministry of Economic Development, Grenada, and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. He has presented many papers in conferences in the United States and in Caribbean. I know he has some great experience and insight to share with us. Please join me welcoming Mr. Sandiford R. Edwards.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me say good morning to the protocol that has been established, the Vice Chair of the University of Jaffna, the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture. We also have our guest speaker from India, the chairman of the convener of this ceremony, and all the special invited guests, dignitaries, colleagues from development partners, JICA. We have them in the Caribbean, so we interact. Colleagues from the bank, and I know the IDB, we do have representatives in the region. It is certainly a pleasure to be here in Sri Lanka with you today. Took us about 30 hours to get here. Having flown from the United States, Atlanta to Doha, then to Colombo, and then we took the drive to come up. And the reason why I am here, 10 years ago I met with Professor, she said, call her Suvantini. We met at the United States Agency International Visitor Leadership Program. And when I was told about the conference, it dawned on me that this is something that I wanted to do because it's important working with smallholder producers and being able to produce food for the world. So I'm extremely delighted to be here. I'm very happy with the kind hospitality of the Sri Lankan people. Has been phenomenal. The food has been great. I've enjoyed having the rice with the strong hint of coconut, the dal, the chicken masala. It's been nothing but phenomenal to be here, and I'm happy to be here. I'm also happy that my wife was able to join me on this mission. Thank you very much, Mrs. Edwards, for coming along. The Vice Chancellor and our guest speaker from India made reference to two important points that I want to sort of speak a little bit on before I dive into my presentation. They spoke about education and entrepreneurship, and education is linked to creativity and creating. And having edited myself PhD papers, it dawned on me that an institution like Jaffna is about creating knowledge and using that knowledge for transformation, for having impact. And so I'm happy that this conference I'm able to participate to sort of challenge you intellectually, to present information that you may be aware of, and also to ask some fundamental questions to help you think about how can we become more competitive in producing in regions like this. On our journey yesterday from Colombo, we had an opportunity to move from the city, and then we came sort of into the intermediate where we had the wetlands. And I was saying, but there is a lot of water, a lot of water bodies. And then when we got here last evening and this morning, we took a walk out into the street. You're placed in a different environment here in Jaffna where the availability of water is not as prominent as in the wetlands. And so this conference is within the theme of how do we integrate smallholder producers in high-value markets, in high-value market chains, and to do so using some innovative approaches that can assure food security. Where I'm from, so to help with a bit of geography, you have North America to the north, Canada, Mexico, and then you have South America, so you have Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, etc. And there are some chain of islands between North America, the United States, and South America. Those chain of islands is called the Caribbean, and if you're familiar with West Indies and you're familiar with cricket, we call this area the West Indies. And so I grew up looking at Sachin Tendulkar and some of the other cricketers playing against the West Indies cricket team. So I want to let you know that that is something that I also enjoy. We do have quite a lot in common, both Sri Lanka, India, and the Caribbean. So that's where I'm from. Just a brief, we have 44.8 million people in the Caribbean that spans several countries, and we speak 4 different languages. So we have the English-speaking Caribbean. So I am from the English-speaking Caribbean, where we only speak English and a bit of a dialect, and we were previously colonies of the United Kingdom, so we speak English. So your countries as Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, etc. We have countries that speak Spanish. So we're speaking of Cuba and Dominican Republic. They speak Spanish. Countries that speak French, Martinique, Guadeloupe, and Haiti. And Suriname speaks Dutch. So it's a very diverse region that I'm from. The economic structure of the Caribbean, we have the oil-producing countries. So Trinidad, Guyana, Suriname are oil-producing countries. We have the tourism-related countries, Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, so, you know, Clive Lloyd, Desmond Haynes, those sort of cricketers, they're from Antigua and Barbados. Then we have the mining countries, Guyana, again, and Jamaica. Then we have the agriculture countries, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Dominica, Belize, and Guyana. What is the context of the presentation today? We are saying that the world agriculture is at a critical juncture, and it's under tremendous pressure to be able to feed a growing population. And there are different schools of thought that exist as it relates to how to feed that growing population. One school of thought that I'm able to submit is that if we manage food loss and food waste and improve distribution, then there is no need to increase production. That is one school of thought. Another school of thought says that we need to be able to improve productivity on the existing lands that are available, along with improved distribution to meet the growing food population needs. I submit both for your reflection. But what is important that we can note is that climate change and the changing of weather patterns do have an impact on our food security status, do have an impact on food production. And so it's important to look at how we build a resiliency, how we adapt to the changing needs of climate change, particularly for smallholder producers, so that they can continue to have both livelihoods, but also to continue to produce food security needs. Just like Sri Lanka, in the Caribbean, we are faced with prolonged droughts. So we're experiencing droughts where long periods of sun and little rain. We are also experiencing species extinction, where crops and plants that we were once used to, they are no longer available, both crops and animals. Water scarcity, water security is also an issue at this time in the Caribbean. And it may be a challenge as well in Sri Lanka, particularly in an area in the north. How do we access those water? And the cost of water is also a challenge. There is also the issue of food loss and food waste. And the professor, he looked at technologies that can extend the shelf life of food. Those are important things to consider as we look at the impact of change in weather patterns and climate change in order to be able to improve productivity. What about the issue of lands and accessing those lands based on competition? So, based from the Caribbean, again, looking at the need for housing and the need for tourism, we see that agricultural lands are being transitioned to different sectors. With that being the case, then there is an added pressure on productivity. We know that all of these issues, the issue of land, the issue of water, the issue of climate change, tropical storms and tropical cyclones, they all add pressure to food security and the challenges that smallholder producers face in being able to access markets. Generally, we know that smallholder producers, especially women and marginalized farmers, are disproportionately affected when it comes to the effects of climate change. So, similar to the Caribbean, we are exposed to the impact of climate change. Sri Lanka as well. So for example, when I was doing some research, it says that the increases in the minimum temperatures can negatively affect the yields of crops, such as rice and other grains and staples that are grown here in Sri Lanka. I was also told, based on research, that it accounts for approximately 32% of the nutritional requirements of the population. It means that any further increase in atmospheric temperature will adversely affect the ability of smallholder producers to continue to produce business as usual, meaning using the same methods, using the same practices as they were used to over the last 10 or 15 or 20 years because of the impact that climate change is going to have. So what is the context? What is the context of looking at integrating smallholder producers? Why are they important? That's an important question. It is important because we know that food security, as based on the Food Security World Report produced by FAO, is that we have approximately 1,713 to 757 million people would have faced hunger in 2023. Means 1 out of 11 people in the world is exposed to hunger and food insecurity. Now that is startling. It means that producing countries everywhere must look at their context, must look at the realities and the challenges that they are faced with to be able to improve their productivity so that they can meet the needs of the growing communities and the growing population and meet the needs of the international consumers. Further, there is another report by the Global Food Security Index that measures food security and looks at an amended 4 drivers. So it speaks to affordability, it speaks to availability, quality and safety, and sustainability and adaptability. And I want to take 2 minutes to speak on 2 of them. The issue of availability, the issue of affordability. Because in the context of integrating smallholder producers, in a dry zone arena, a dry zone space, we must consider agriculture producer prices. What are the prices that the producers are getting at the market? And Professor, in his presentation, showed us a slide that looks at the increase in value that is attracted to value addition along the value chain. So the producer gets one price. When you add a little value, you get an additional price. But by the time it gets to the final consumer, the value there that is extracted is sometimes 100%, 200%, at times 500% more than what the producer gets. So in a dry zone environment, we need to look at the agriculture producer prices. How do we strengthen and improve the prices for producers so that they can be sustainable? In the region, in the Caribbean, we are doing a project funded by the United States government that looks at strengthening smallholder producers. And in conversation with value chain actors, so when we speak to academia, looking at research institutions and how they undertake research to meet the needs of producers so that they can improve their capacity to better integrate into high-value markets. When we speak to agro-processors, when we speak to distributors and supermarkets, we say to them that we make no apologies for wanting every individual in the value chain to make money and to be successful. That profitability is not only for the final producer or the final distributor, but profitability is also important for smallholder producers, because if they are unable to be profitable, then they will not be sustainable and they will not be able to produce foods continually that we need to be able to consume. So their profitability is also extremely important. We also say that it's important to empower women and to empower marginalized producers. That is important for ensuring that foods remain available. In the Caribbean, women are 75% in terms of heads of the households. So we have a lot of single parents in the Caribbean, and most of them are headed by women. It means that if they are headed by women, then women need to be considered when we are looking at improving the availability of foods, because generally they are the ones that are providing for the households, they are the ones that are home. Irrigation infrastructure. We cannot speak of dry zone agriculture, producing in dry environments, without understanding and making sure that the infrastructure for irrigation is available. And that involves an element of the public sector and an element of the private sector. It involves an element of research institutions, of development partners, of financial institutions to ensure that a holistic plan is available. How do we move and transport water from where it's located to where it's needed? How do we develop the infrastructure to protect agriculture water as well as municipal water? And then finally, on the availability, to make sure that foods are available in a dry zone environment, what amount of investment is going into research and development? And is that research and development only being funded by the private sector? Or do we have the public sector involved in funding research and development? When we speak of the public sector, we're speaking also of development partners, their contribution towards advancing research so that we can have improved technologies, we can have smarter technologies available so that we can improve productivity. But also, what about affordability? It's one thing for food to be available, but can citizens and consumers afford it? Can they afford to purchase it? And how do we improve affordability? We were told that in the financial crisis, and we've seen it based on a survey that was done in the Caribbean and across the world, including the United States, and it's a major talking point now during the election. And the Democratic Vice President candidate, Kamala Harris, indicated that the hot policy, if elected into office, will be to go after price gouging in terms of the increase in prices. We've seen the research that prices are rising. If prices are rising for food around the world, then how do we ensure within a space like Sri Lanka that consumers are able to access the foods that is nutritious and the foods that are healthy? So there's a major debate that is going on in the Caribbean as we speak, where the citizens are challenging the policymakers to say to them that eating healthy is too expensive, meaning that highly processed foods with sugar and salt is easier, it's more affordable, it's cheaper than fresh fruits and vegetables. So at the moment, one tomato, and I saw this on Facebook, so I'm not sure of the authenticity, so I'm saying it with a bit of inverted commas. I do not have the proof. But based on Facebook, a consumer said that she went into the supermarket and one tomato cost $4 US in terms of conversion, $12.50 EC, $4 US. So we're talking about over 1,000 is rupees here, Sri Lankan dollars, rupees, ours, I'll call it ours to make sure that I get it right, over $1,000 for one tomato. Now, how many citizens in a population, especially in rural communities, will be able to afford a tomato at $4 US? So there is this challenge of rising food prices. There is also a challenge with funding food safety programs. The design of food safety net programs, school feeding programs to ensure that students, as they go to school, have access to nutritious food. So there's a challenge with design, and there's also a challenge with funding. How do we make this sustainable? How do we grow our own foods to feed our students rather than importing food to feed students? In my mind, it is not a very sustainable approach. How do we utilize more of our locally grown fruits and vegetables to form part of our diets? Yes. So as I enjoyed the hotel for the last 2 days in Colombo, I was thrilled and amazed by the level of local foods that I had the opportunity to consume. Yes, we had the Indian corner, and then we had the Sri Lankan corner. But the foods that was produced in both the Sri Lankan and Indian corner was primarily local foods from right here in Sri Lanka. Having had the opportunity to visit over 37 different countries all over the world, and lived in hotels, when I'm asked, where are you from? I say, I don't know. My wife and kids live in Atlanta, in the US, in Georgia. My office, regional office, is in Washington. And then we have a regional office in Guyana, where I'm supposed to be based to look after 8 countries. So it means every week I'm in a different country. So I literally live out of a suitcase and in a hotel. So having lived in so many different hotels, you see the foods that you get. And a lot of the foods are North American. It's imported North American style foods. But I was trained here in Sri Lanka. Trained here in Sri Lanka that the foods were produced from local sources. And to me, that is commendable, and that is quite something that should be emulated. Affordability also has to look at trade freedom, meaning that the ability of states to be able to move food across borders. This has an impact on smallholder producers. Vice Chancellor this morning made it abundantly clear that this northern part of Sri Lanka is in a surplus position when it comes to agricultural production. With trade freedom, it means that you have more than enough capacity to meet your requirements and then to send the excess to other parts of Sri Lanka and other parts of the world that provides more opportunities for producers to further expand the production and so improve their livelihoods. Trade freedom has an impact on how we practice dry zone agriculture around the world. A little bit of statistic, because it is important, and again, this whole conference is joined up, and the Vice Chancellor made mention of looking at the uniqueness of Jaffna, the uniqueness of the north of Sri Lanka. And that uniqueness needs to be considered in the solutions that are being advanced to be able to develop dry zone agriculture technologies and food security. Why? When we look at the countries that are best performers in terms of food security based on international statistics, and we think of Finland and Ireland and Norway, etc. And then when we think of countries on the lower end that might be more challenged, so the Syria, the Yemen, the Haiti in the Caribbean, Venezuela, even the Congo, Burundi in Africa, they have a different set of challenges. And then we have the countries that are in the middle of the pack, such as India, Nepal, Cambodia, Bangladesh, Paraguay, and Sri Lanka, in the middle of the pack. But what is important is that the solutions has to be driven from within local communities, that the solution has to be driven from within communities, from within countries, and not necessarily from the United States or from Europe, simply because the context is different. And as alluded to, the microclimate is different. The soil fertility and composition is different. The way you cultivate, the way you farm is different. Even how you consume foods are different. And so the solutions needs to also be different. So what is the approach of integrated smallholder producers? I submit to you 2 different approaches that can be followed. One approach is called the production-driven model. The production-driven model says that the farmer goes out and produces, and after the farmer produces, then the farmer looks for market. This has different challenges. The market-driven approach is different. The market-driven approach says that the producer plans what the market is asking for in terms of the demand of the produce, the quality specification, the time of delivery, and even the specifications of when it's supposed to be delivered, how much it's supposed to be delivered, and where it's supposed to be delivered. That is a totally different model that is being developed now and is being experimented. And I'm happy to report that the United States government, through funding, worked with the dairy producers here in Sri Lanka to begin to pioneer this sort of a market-driven approach to dairy production here in Sri Lanka. That model, I want to take 2 minutes to build on it because I believe that it may help in driving improved productivity here. So, the production model, producers plant and grow crops in absence of confined markets. And at the point of harvest, they look for market opportunities. What is the risk with the production-driven approach? The risk with the production-driven approach to cultivation is that there is the periods of glut and shortages. That everybody produces everything at the same time, and so, when it gets to the market, you may have excess production, falling prices. If there is falling prices because of excess production, then the farmer may have to absorb that market risk. The farmer absorbs the market risk because of lower prices, and so the farmer does not make the amount of money that he or she is supposed to have made because of the lower prices. So that farmer is built and says, I am not going back into production of this particular crop again, and so you end up with a shortage. The prices go high. Then the farmer comes back into the market and produces again. And so you have that cyclical approach to production that affects the consistency of supply. The market-driven approach to integrating smallholder producers, especially in environments where you are dealing with the vagaries and the changes of climate change, requires a more strategic approach. So what it says is that the market signals to the producer what they want based on customer needs and customer desires and customer trends. And so you introduce an element of production planning. Now with Internet of Things and all the different technologies that are available, we can use computers, etc., and our extension services can support the improvement in production planning. How is that market-driven approach delivered? It means you see the products, the quality specification, and the timing from the perspective of the consumer. Not the perspective of the producer, but the perspective of the consumer. The market-driven approach uses data to prioritize productions and the features that the customers expect. What am I basically saying? That if the market can absorb and the market is demanding 100,000 metric tons of maize every month, it means that the producers are able to combine the efforts and resources to meet the specification of 100,000 metric tons of maize. What is the justification? The justification of the market-driven approach is a reduction in market risk failure. It says that market price volatility can be controlled. It means that falling prices from oversupply can be mitigated. The model relies on agreements, and in some parts of the world it might be extremely difficult to enforce written contracts, so you may have what is called a gentleman agreement. And then the market-driven approach provides the basis and the opportunity to use the cluster approach to production. So here in Jaffna, in this part of the northern Sri Lanka, it means that you can use the cluster approach of geospatial approach of zoning, using this northern zone to develop the technologies, to develop the production technologies, to develop your cultivation practices, so that you can take advantage of your own microclimate and your conditions to meet the market requirements. What does this model look like in practice as I get ready to land this plane? You know, having traveled a lot, I like to use the analogy of the plane where you go up, you take off, you level off, and then you begin to land. So we are beginning to land. The model requires a whole of society approach. So there is a role for research institutions and education institutions, and I have it right at the bottom there, that provides the research and development, but through extension can provide the technical assistance, working with ministries of agriculture, working with private sector institutions that have extension services, working with development partners such as JICA, to provide the sort of a capacity building that is required so that farmers can transition, so that farmers can adapt to new technologies and the new approaches. But that is underpinned by the input suppliers being a part of the conversation. Because very often when we think of it, if a farmer requires seeds, more climate resilient seeds, a smallholder producer with 1 hectare or 2 hectares may not have the capacity to import seeds, but if he comes together, he or she comes together, and you have a cluster of farmers that are producing millets, that are producing cassava, that are producing maize, then those cluster can work with input suppliers to make sure that you have the right germplasm in terms of the timing of availability, when it's available, the quality that it's available, and at the right price, so that producers can have access to those inputs. If you are in organic agriculture production, there may be different technologies that you want to utilize, ground cover, mulch material that you want to utilize to ensure that you can be successful. It means that the input suppliers need to be an important partner to be able to supply those when required. The producers, a model that we look at is where we have the aggregators working with producers and working with the market. So the market signals to the aggregator de-risk the investment on behalf of the farmers, so that the farmers know that they are specializing in production. You know, I often say that we ask our producers to be magicians, in that we would go to school and study one thing. As in my case, I do a lot of development finance. Somebody else may study biotechnology, or vice chancellor mathematician. We have agronomists. But we ask producers to be everything. So we ask them to produce, but we also ask them to sell. Yes? We also ask them to be able to package it properly. We ask our producers to do everything along the value chain. I am not sure it's the same here in Suriname. Why am I saying Suriname? In Sri Lanka. I'm not sure it's the same in Sri Lanka, but in the Caribbean, all producers have to do everything. The model that we've been working on is to say where we have a trusted aggregator that allows the producer to focus on production. So the farmer, the producer, is focusing on ensuring that he plants the right time, that he can give good consideration and implement the good agricultural practices, that he spends time observing the growth of his crops, that he makes sure that his irrigation system is functioning properly, that he ensures that if he's adding organic matter and fertilizer, that it's provided to the crop at the right time and at the right interval, that he is using the technologies to test the moisture level in the soil so that he's not over-irrigating, so that he can manage his water, and that he has the produce harvested at the right time to meet the market. The model allows them to focus on production and allows the aggregator to interact with the market. But there is also an important role for financial institutions. And I'm happy to see that IDB is here. We've designed a package using this model in the Caribbean, where one commercial bank made available $5.6 billion, your currency, which is 20 million US dollars. 20 million US dollars, one financial institution, to ensure that funding can come into the agricultural sector. This model was able to unlock the commitment from financial institutions. At the moment, we are also designing this to upgrade and to upscale this. And in the 7th of October in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, during what is called the Caribbean Week of Agriculture, the intention is to launch the upscaled model to this, to release over 100 million US dollars for agriculture financing. This can be transformational. This, here the financial institution provides the credit to the producers, and we're providing the credit in a designed package, because lending to vegetables is different from lending to animals. Lending to tree crops is different from lending to vegetables. And so we've been working with the financial institutions to design specialized agricultural packages so that they can lend into the various subsectors within agriculture. This model holds potential for dry zone areas based on the crops and the tree crops as recommended, the fruits and vegetables that are recommended, the millets, etc., etc. It's necessary to design financial packages around those that takes into consideration the peculiarity of growing those crops to make sure that the funding is available to producers when they need it, in the amount that they need it, and in an interest rate that allows them to be sustainable. So one of the things that we've done as I get ready to close is that we've trained financial officers and credit officers in financial institutions in specific value chain crops. So, root crops in the Caribbean, cassava, dasheen, sweet potatoes, very big. We've designed production cost templates. We've designed budgets around those. What is the typical cost of growing 1 hectare? What is the cost of growing 5 hectares? And what is the cost of growing 10 hectares? And we've done this for the 20 most important crops for the country. So the solution is driven by you. The financial institutions absorb, meet as a steering committee, and says, this is what the producers want to grow based on the market opportunity. We then design the financial packages for those crops that the producers wants to grow based on the market opportunity that they have. And we then train the credit officers in the financial institutions to understand how to lend into agriculture. This has been transformational in improving food security within the region. So, this is not new. You're a specialist in your field, but here is a menu of options that you can pull from. I only want to highlight 3 of those menu of options. In improving farming techniques in a dry zone environment, the first one that I want to pull from is the use of data to lower food costs and to adopt to climate change. So we are about to do a project in the Caribbean where we are going back in times to 30 years, yes? And we are going to take the rainfall pattern, the heat and drought pattern for 30 years and analyze that in special agroeconomic zones and see what the impact has been on those agroeconomic zones on production, step 1. And then secondly, we are going to devise production technologies to respond to the changes that were observed over the last 30 years to ensure that farmers' capacity are built so that they can continue to produce, but in a new environment based on the realities of climate change. It may be useful as an opportunity, if not available here and done in Sri Lanka, to examine what has been the impact of rainfall patterns over the last 20 or 30 years, droughts over the last 20 or 30 years, and you designed your production approaches in this dry zone environment based on the data. And then secondly, I want to submit the use of sensible water management plan. Yes? Do you have a water management plan that allows you to monitor and to design and to use water in the most sensible way? The water management plan may also include the smart technologies to allow you to farm using drip irrigation, control meters, different technologies that are available that can allow you to remain productive during dry periods. And then finally, is there an opportunity to supplement what I call dry zone income with non-dry zone land sources? So is there an opportunity to integrate agrotourism into a dry zone environment? Is there an opportunity to integrate social forestry into a dry zone environment? Is there an opportunity to introduce improved agro-processing for some of the unique crops and fruits that you have in this area so that you can continue to add value? Those are some menu of options that can be looked at. So what are the success factors? 1, identification of high-value markets. 2, seeking out champion buyers and partner organizations. Who are the partner organizations that can work with the University of Jaffna? So we've heard of the university from India through Professor in supporting the development of agro-processing here in Jaffna. That is commendable. We have JICA that is providing support. We have the IDB and other institutions that can be champion partners with you so that you can advance the agenda going forward. But also, are there champion buyers? Is there a major supermarket chain here or a major processor or distributor that is willing to come to the table with you here in Jaffna to say we are prepared and committed to support the development of agriculture in this region and to provide market opportunities? This is going to be a major signaling event and is going to imbue confidence, instill confidence in producers so that they can continue to produce. What have we done in the Caribbean? One of the largest supermarket chains, Massey, who's based in the Caribbean but also in Florida, they now expanded into the US. They've come on board and have provided commitment for 5 crops. We didn't want 20, 5 crops. And we've been working with producers to build producers' capacity to meet the demand for the supermarket for those 5 crops. What this is doing is that it's bridging the divide between purchasers saying that farmers can meet quality, farmers not producing on time, and supply disruptions. It is bridging that divide and is providing confidence in the supply chain that indeed the farmers can produce the quantity that is required, that indeed the farmers can produce the quality that is required, and farmers can produce it when it is required. There needs to be an emphasis, can be controversial, but I want to say this. There needs to be an emphasis on value chain profitability and sustainability instead of farmers' yields. What do I mean by this? Traditional agriculture, the farmers look at how do I increase my yield? So if you take a tea bag and you put the tea bag in water, you draw that tea bag and you consume the tea. You leave that same tea bag in that cup of water, in that same cup. You come back the next day, you add fresh hot water, you get tea. You come back the 3rd day, same tea bag, but we'll keep extracting the tea. By the 5th day, well, not even the 5th day, by the 3rd day, it will just be a little flavored water. The potency of the tea is no longer there. So you now need to add another tea bag and another tea bag to reignite the strength. It's like the soil. If we absorb and we keep extracting from the soil and we don't put back into the soil, then it means the ability of the soil to give will begin to deplete. With the practices that Professor would have alluded to in terms of the sustainable approach to organic farming, that improves the content of the soil to continue to produce, and as Vice Chancellor says, to produce fruit, then it means that you're now focusing on the sustainability. You're focusing on how can I be sustainable rather than just increasing yields today. So as you think of this dry zone environment and at this 10th conference, at this critical time, the question is, can you look at sustainability? Or is there merit in looking at sustainability and profitability of production beyond just farmers' yields? Because you may get yields today, but the yields may drop tomorrow, and then your soil has been depleted because you can't continue to produce. And finally, what is the key message? The key message is that we need to have the legal and policy frameworks that creates the economic incentives. What are the legal and policy frameworks that allows the university to continue to invest in research and development? What are the legal and policy frameworks that allows development partners, that allows the farmers and the producers and the private sector to continue to invest in production and to introduce technologies, which is an investment. Yes, there is a cost. What are the incentives that would allow them to continue to do so? When we add this to the private sector, including the financial institutions, to make investment in innovation, to drive productivity, to make investment in innovation, to improve efficiency, then we end up with a public-private sector investment partnership that creates the critical environment that allows agriculture to provide a return on investment. Is there political commitment for adaptation? Is there an adequate flow to the last mile, to the small marginalized producers of climate finance? Is there sustainability of agricultural practices being employed? Do we consider the risk of disasters and have a management plan in place? And do we have a national strategy for agriculture? If the answer to all of those are yes, I humbly submit that the university and this region is well on its way in remaining and even becoming well known for producing high quality foods in tough environments like Dry Zone. It was a real pleasure to be able to participate in this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing food system and food safety to us. Now, I would like to invite Dr. S. Shivashankar, Secretary of ICDA 2024, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Anand. Dear Chief Guest, respected speakers, invited guests, presenters, deans, heads of department, academic staff, non-academic staff, students, and my dear colleagues, good morning to all of you. We are truly blessed to be part of this significant event which aligns with the Golden Jubilee year for the University of Jaffna. As a Joint Secretary, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this special occasion. On behalf of the organizing committee of the ICDA 2024, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to all who have contributed to the success of this event. First of all, I wish to express my gratitude to our esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor S. Sri Satguna Raja, for giving us the permission to organize this prestigious conference. Sir, your unwavering support and encouragement have been truly invaluable to the success of this event. We are extremely grateful to the keynote speaker, Mr. Sandyford R. Edwards, Program Director of the Caribbean Agriculture Productivity Improvement Activity funded by USAID in Grenada, for delivering an inspiring keynote address. Sir, your presentation has given us a deep understanding of how smallholder producers can be integrated into the high-value market chains, contributing significantly to food security. We are deeply appreciative of the expertise and dedication you have shared with us today. We are delighted to extend a hearty vote of thanks to our guest speaker, Professor E. Somasundaram, Director of Agribusiness Development and Professor in Agronomy at Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, for his insightful address. Sir, your presentation has highlighted the immense potential for innovation and growth in dryland agribusinesses, providing us with new perspectives on how startups can derive to sustainable development in this region. We express our sincere gratitude to the chairpersons of technical sessions, Professor Surya Goda, Professor Ogata Gasu, Dr. Mrs. J. Vimalan, Professor Jayasena, Dr. B.K. Deesan, and Emeritus Professor C. Sivajohanathan for accepting our request to chair the technical sessions. Also, we would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to the evaluators of the technical sessions, Professor Mrs. N. Gnanavel Raja, Professor Mrs. S. Sivachandran, Professor G. Mihundan, Mrs. K. Niranjan, Professor S. Vasandaruba, Mrs. J. Rajita, Dr. Mrs. S. Pradeepan, Dr. Yahira Morito, Dr. M. Kannan, Dr. Mrs. T. Tanvechelvan, Dr. Surya Kumar, and Dr. Karunanidhi. We are truly appreciative of your valuable input. I'm also very much thankful to all sponsors, JICA Presida, Laika Jnana Foundation, CIC, KIST, Langam, Healthy Landscapes, Chrysalis, Agriculture Sector Modernization Project, PNK Group American Water, and Trincomalee 97th A-level batch students. Without your generous financial support, it would not have been possible to organize these events as a successful one. We are looking forward to your continuous support for our future events too. Also, I express my gratitude to the Deputy Registrar, Works Engineer, and Engineering Supportive Staff of Cleanergy Premises for providing necessary logistic support in organizing this event. I am immensely thankful to all presenters, authors, participants who have participated in this conference. Without your valuable contribution, we would not be able to conduct this event as a productive one. On behalf of the organizing committee, I convey my deepest sense of appreciation and thanks to all reviewers for allocating their time to review the abstracts and giving the constructive feedbacks to the authors. I'm also very much thankful to Professor Mrs. S. Sivachandran and her team for making this venue charming and eye-catching. A special note of thanks goes to Mr. K. Venugopan and his team. Without their support, the hybrid format of this conference would not have been possible. Their hard work and commitment have been instrumental in ensuring the smooth execution of both in-person and virtual components of this event. My sincere gratitude goes to Mr. S. Anand Kumar for his outstanding performance as the host of the conference. I would also make a special mention for our Dean, Heads of Departments, Senior Assistant Registrar, Academic Staff, Academic Supportive Staff, and Temporary Staff for their valuable support. My sincere gratitude for the ICDA 2023 Organizing Committee for assisting us in the needed situation and providing guidance at the required times. I would also like to acknowledge the efforts of the Organizing Committee and volunteers who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure everything went smoothly. Your dedication and hard work are greatly appreciated. I would like to take this moment to extend my best wishes to all the presenters who are going to present today. Finally, a big thank you to everyone who joined with us today, both in person and virtually. Your support and presence have made this event memorable. I sincerely apologize if I have unintentionally missed to acknowledge anyone. Once again, thank you all for being part of this occasion. Thank you very much. Okay, sorry for that one. I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to the VC Media for their excellent work in covering the live events. Sorry for that one. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Shankar. Dear ladies and gentlemen, now we will hold a photo sessions. So I would like to invite chief guests and other distinguished guests and all the participants are welcome to take a position, please.